I was never alone in my apartment. I moved into my apartment because it was cheap, quiet, and close to my job. It wasn't in a bad neighborhood, just old, the kind of building where the hallway lights buzz softly and the walls seem a little too thin. There were only 8 apartments in the building. Most of the tenants were older people who kept to themselves. I worked long hours, usually getting home around midnight, so I rarely saw anyone. The first few weeks were completely normal. Then I started noticing small things. Every night when I came home, I locked my door. I was very particular about it. Deadbolt first, then the handle lock. One night after getting into bed, I heard a faint click from the front of my apartment. I told myself it was the building settling. The next morning when I left for work, my deadbolt was unlocked. I clearly remembered locking it. Still, I brushed it off. Maybe I was tired. A few nights later, I came home and noticed something else. My shoes were slightly moved. Not a lot, just enough that I hesitated before taking them off. I lived alone, no pets, no reason for anything to shift. That night, I locked the door and pushed a chair against it just to feel better. Around 2:30 a.m., I woke up to the sound of breathing. Not loud, not heavy, just close. I held my breath and listened. After a few seconds, it stopped. I didn't move until morning. The next day, I checked every closet, every corner, every room. Nothing was out of place. No signs of anyone being there. For a while, everything went quiet again. Then the sound started. Soft footsteps in the hallway outside my apartment door. Always late at night. Always stopping right in front of my door. Sometimes I'd hear the floor creak, like someone shifting their weight. I looked through the peephole more than once. Every time the hallway was empty. One night I heard something new. Scratching. Slow, deliberate scratching. Coming from the inside of my front door. I froze in my bed, staring at the darkness. It stopped after a few seconds. The next morning, I checked the door, like someone had dragged their fingernails across the wood. I called the landlord. He told me the building was old and noises were normal. When I mentioned the scratches, he paused, then said maybe someone in the hallway had brushed against the door. I knew that wasn't true. A week later, I came home and noticed my bathroom light was on. I never leave it on. I walked through the apartment slowly, checking each room. Nothing was missing. Nothing looked disturbed. That night, I slept with my phone in my hand. At exactly 2:47 a.m., my bedroom door creaked open. I stared at it, my heart pounding. The door moved only an inch, then it closed again. I didn't sleep after that. The next morning, I installed a cheap security camera in my living room, pointed at the front door. It connected to my phone and recorded motion. That night, I stayed awake watching the live feed. Nothing happened. At 3:12 a.m., I finally fell asleep. When I woke up, I had 6 motion alerts. I opened the recordings. The first clip showed my living room at 2:46 a.m. empty. Then the second clip started. The front door handle slowly turned. The door didn't open. The third clip showed the handle turning again. The fourth clip made my stomach drop. The camera caught the reflection of someone standing just out of frame. I could only see part of a shoulder and the side of a head. They were inside my apartment. The fifth clip showed nothing. The sixth clip showed my bedroom door opening slightly. I didn't go to work that day. I called the police. They searched the apartment and found nothing. No signs of forced entry, no fingerprints, no explanation. One officer asked me a question that stuck with me. "Are you sure no one else has a key?" I called my landlord again. He hesitated before answering. Then he told me something he probably shouldn't have. The previous tenant left suddenly. No notice, just abandoned the apartment. When the landlord went inside, he found the door unlocked, lights on, and food rotting on the counter. The tenant was never heard from again. That night, I packed a bag and planned to stay at a friend's place. Before leaving, I checked my phone. There was a new video recorded on my camera. Timestamp 5 minutes ago. I pressed play. The video showed my living room. Then someone walked into view. It was me. Same clothes. Same posture. The person stood in front of the camera and stared directly into it. Then they smiled. The video ended. I ran. A week later, I went back with the police to collect the rest of my things. My apartment door was open. Inside, everything was exactly as I left it, except for one thing. On my bedroom wall, written in uneven letters, were the words, "You forgot to lock the door." I never went back. Sometimes late at night, I still wake up to the sound of breathing, and every time it feels close, too close.
Now, True Churkahort story. I've been driving trucks for 15 years. This highway changed everything. People think highways are just long, empty roads. But if you drive at night, really drive, you learn something most people never will. Highways remember things. My name is Daniel Cooper. I've been a long-haul truck driver for over 15 years. I've crossed deserts, frozen mountains, and endless highways at 3 a.m. Nothing scared me. Until one night on Highway 17. 2:41 a.m. No cars, no lights. It was late autumn. I was hauling a refrigerated load, driving through a stretch of highway known among truckers as a dead zone. No towns, no gas stations, no phone signal, just road and darkness. The only sound was my engine and the hum of the tires. The radio suddenly cut to static. I tapped it once, then twice. Nothing. That's when I saw someone standing on the shoulder of the road. Man on the highway, he wasn't waving. He wasn't signaling for help. He was just standing there, still. He wore a long dark coat, even though it wasn't that cold. His head was slightly lowered, like he was staring at the ground. I slowed down out of instinct, then something inside me screamed, "Don't stop." As my headlights passed over him, he slowly lifted his head. His face looked wrong. His eyes were completely black. No whites, no reflection, just black. The reflection. 17 a.m. The call. My heart was racing. I told myself I was tired, hallucinating. Then my phone rang. No clear ID, I ignored it. It rang again. I checked the time. 3:17 a.m. The call stopped on its own. A second later, my phone buzzed again, this time a missed call notification. Same number, no number at all. That's when I noticed movement in my side mirror. He was behind my truck. The man was standing near my trailer. That was impossible. I was doing 75 miles per hour. But he wasn't running. He wasn't even walking. He was sliding along the road, keeping pace with my truck. His feet never moved. Footsteps inside the cab. Then I heard it. Footsteps, heavy, slow, inside my truck. Right behind my seat, I froze. My hands locked onto the steering wheel. I whispered, "Who's there?" No answer. Then a voice spoke, right next to my ear. Low, dry. "Don't look back." I looked anyway. The cab was empty, but the smell changed. Cold, like wet dirt and old metal. The door handle moved, the passenger door handle twitched. Once, twice. My phone lit up again. Incoming call. This time the screen showed something worse than a number. It showed my own face, reflected on the black screen. But behind my reflection, someone else was standing. Tall. Too tall. Smiling. The highway went silent. The engine noise faded. The road markings disappeared. It felt like the truck wasn't moving, even though the speedometer still read 75. Then the voice returned. "You picked me up." "I never stopped," I said. The voice laughed. "You looked at me." The lights flickered. The road suddenly reappeared. I slammed the accelerator. The phone went dead. The radio came back on. Music played like nothing had happened. And morning came, but something stayed at sunrise. I pulled into the first truck stop. My face was pale. My hands wouldn't stop shaking. When I checked the back of my trailer, there were handprints on the metal. Long fingers. Too many joints. Final warning, I reported it. Other truckers listened quietly. One old driver finally spoke. "That's why we don't drive Highway 17 after 3 a.m. I quit night driving after that, because highways don't just carry traffic. Sometimes they carry passengers that never get off.